Next, we will begin with a configuration of the Xpediter program. First, double-click on the Xpediter client shortcut, which will bring in the login dialog box. Enter a user ID of 00 and password 2000. This is the default user ID that is used in the system. The first module that we will enter is the Update Agency module. To access this module, click on the Admin menu and Update Agency. The first tab that we will want to work with is the Agency tab. On the Agency tab, you will find additional descriptors for your agency, along with sections for routing groups, substations, and divisions. We will begin by adding the additional descriptors for our agency. To add a division, click on the Add button and select Add Division. This will bring up a dialog box from which you can enter your division name. Adding a substation is done the same way. Click on the Add button and select Add Substation, and then type in the substation name in the dialog box. Routing groups are added the same way. Click on Add, select Add Routing Group, and type the name of the routing group that you wish to add. Next, we will move over to the Machines tab. On the Machines tab, we can enter information about servers that provide additional resources or functionality for Xpediter. These servers can include wireless, CAD, RMS, and imaging. The next tab that we will want to take a look at is the System tab. On the System tab, you will find system-specific settings for Xpediter. Here you will be able to specify default server and mobile settings that will pass from server to clients through the synchronization process. To set the server installation, check the Control Computer checkbox just midway down the page. As you will see later, this will enable all admin modules within the system. For narratives, you can set a default font for your officers by clicking on the Default Narrative Font button midway down the page. Here you will find all of the settings for altering the font and style your officers will use in the narrative. Also on this page is a setting for the default task server. This allows you as an administrator to default the task server dropdown when the officers navigate to the transfer screen. This will help reduce confusion if there are a number of different servers that provide resources for other Xpediter functionality. You can also specify a specific port from which the task server will communicate on and the maximum number of lines of activity that will be logged in the task server window. The Task Server page General tab contains specific configuration parameters for the Xpediter task server. Here you can alter the port number that the program communicates on, when clients time out, the timeout interval, what types of events are logged, and the maximum number of lines that the log keeps in its buffer. The Synchronization tab allows you to configure how often synchronization files are created and when the synchronization process will take place. You can also specify where the sync files will be created and how many days, hours, or minutes will elapse between file generation time. If you have purchased the Citation interface in addition to the Citation module, this screen will allow you to specify when citations are sent to the courts and at what frequency. You can specify days or hours between exports. On this screen, an administrator can enter the FTP server, FTP username, and password to be used for export, and at what directory on the server the files are exported to. If your agency has purchased the RMS export, The RMS tab will allow you to configure the FTP server and FTP username and password for FTP export. Simply enter the information in the grid to save the information. The Email tab is for the configuration of citation export totals to be reported as an email from the system. Here you can enter the text to be included from the email and the email address the system will use for transport. The Template tab allows you to specify case templates for every case type in the system. At the top, you will find a grid of all case types in the system and a legend below. For our example, we will modify the field interview case type to validate the case number by making sure that the first two characters are FI, followed by a 3-digit day, followed by a 2-digit year, month, and day. Note that the sample case number field on the right will verify whether the case template entered is correct. The Forms tab will allow you to activate and deactivate forms within the system. This allows you as an administrator to determine which forms are available for use by the officers. Simply check the box to activate or uncheck the box to deactivate. The Citation tab will allow you to set defaults for the citation data entry screens. Here you can default driver's licenses to your particular state, default county fees for your specific county, and also set the data directories for the citation exports.